Welcome to Amanda Hall Psychic. We're going to be starting a weekly little mini workshop. This week I thought we'd kick it off with love. What does love mean to you? Why do we need love in our lives? Why is love so important to all of us? I'd like to welcome everybody here. For those of you that don't know who I am, my name's Amanda Hall. I've been in the psychic industry here in Australia for over 40 years now. I've been inducted into the Psychic Hall of Fame. I've been Australian Psychic of the Year for the last 3 years. So I do come with a few credentials about being able to work with you and work with you on a level that maybe is slightly different, maybe challenging, might even sort of spark some interest. You might not even agree with everything that I've got to say, but that's okay because we're here to have a little bit of fun and for me to be able to share with you some of my knowledge that I've amassed over my 40 years in the psychic industry. And I can assure you there's probably not any different combination of love relationships or love triangles or what does love mean that I probably haven't come across in that time. But what I want to share with you this afternoon is how and why love works and why is it so important to us in our lives. And it is said to be the thing that makes the world go round. I know some people say money makes the world go round. I mean, yes, money's important and it buys us the material side of life. But I believe if we don't have love and we don't have our health, I don't believe we have anything. No amount of money can buy those two things for us. So because it is Valentine's Day here in Australia and other parts of the world, they're heading towards Valentine's Day, I thought this was the perfect time to kick off a Facebook Live show directly behind my show on A1R Psychic Radio and Moonstruck TV out of the US of A on a Tuesday night over there at 10 o'clock, because I've had many people message me after the show and say, gee, we would have liked to have known a little bit more about this or that or the other, Amanda. And that's what led me to designing a series of mini workshops that we can do here on Facebook Live directly after the show that will sort of lead on to a little bit more detail past what I've just spent the last half an hour working on the show with. So this week I've chosen love. So why do we need love in our lives? Well, the reasons why we need love in our lives is it makes us feel complete. Some people say, oh, I don't need love, I don't need anyone in my life. Well, I find that very sad. And I also think it's quite tragic that if they think that they can go through their lives as an island, as a person that doesn't need any other human contact or doesn't need somebody to occasionally say, hey, that's a great idea, or gee, you're funny, or you look great today, or I really enjoy being in your energy. It doesn't matter whether we're human beings, whether we're animals, whether we're fish, whether we're snakes, cats, dogs, pigs, guinea pigs. Every animal, every creature on the planet needs to feel love, needs to experience that emotion of making them feel warm and fuzzy. So that's why I believe love is a very important thing. But for some people, love seems to elude them most of their lives because they may be from their upbringing or their religious upbringing or maybe just their own self-esteem that they don't believe that they're worthy of being loved. Now, I'd like to break this down in a little bit more of a easy bite-sized pieces, if I can put it that way. What does love mean? Love means many different things to many different people. To me, love means somebody being able to be comfortable with you, warts and all. Not necessarily looking at you because you're the most attractive creature on the planet, but loving you from the inside out, loving everything about you. Your funny laugh, your funny peculiar looks, the way you look when you're at home in your best housework clothes or your best relaxing gear, your gardening clothes, the times that you look at your most unglamorous. That's what love means to me. Somebody that wants to spend time with you and cares for you and enjoys being in your company because for some reason or another you put a smile on their face and you make their heart feel full. That's what love is. Some people spend their whole lives looking for the perfect love in inverted commas. And I suppose one of the things that I've been a professional psychic for over 40 years, and one of the most common question I get is love coming? Am I still going to stay in love, or is that person coming back into my life? So it is actually more important than money. And unfortunately, a lot of times we're attracted to the wrong type of people. because we see what we think love should be. We've all watched that romantic movie where they get the happily ever after, you know, he comes on the white horse and they ride off into the sunset and everything's perfect and hunky-dory. And then we see other shows where we've got the perfect family where the kids are always perfectly well behaved, there's never any money worries, and mum and dad always get on well and everybody's perfect. And we all sort of strive for that very unreal, I think, idea of what love should be and the perfection that, you know, love is always like we see it in the movies. Everybody's beautifully made up and there's no money problems and they're always, you know, finding a solution to everything. Well, that's not love in reality. Love is something that takes work, it takes compassion, it takes understanding, and sometimes it takes being able to admit you were wrong. That, you know, hey, hang on a minute, you know, I fell in love with you 10 years ago, but today I don't feel the same way. So love doesn't necessarily come on a bus timetable, and love doesn't necessarily mean we are going to be in love for the rest of our lives with that one person either. I believe that we can love many people in our lifetimes in many different forms of love. And being in love with someone doesn't necessarily mean a bedroom situation. We can have all different levels of love. So if you were the type of person that is trying to attract or bring love into your life, how would you go about it? What would you do? Now, that's a very difficult question because, as we know, life is moving so fast at the moment with social media and different ways of us communicating with people around the world, and people don't have the same social outings as they used to years ago, where people used to be much more social. They'd go to the local dance or go to whatever the local fete or garden party or whatever the case may be that was going on in their little town or village, and that was their way of communicating and meeting people and, you know, attending things, and that's how we met our potential suitors. This day and age, with our lives being so busy and so much social media and so much pressure on us to be this and to be that and to look a certain way and pout a certain way and take a selfie, and it's all very overwhelming, and we sort of think, oh, crikey, this is all too hard. All I wanted to do was meet somebody and have a conversation and maybe grab a bite to eat and see where it could go, but all of a sudden I feel this overwhelming pressure. Well, let's try and take that away a little bit. Look, I'm not going to say there's a right or a wrong way to fall in love. All I'm going to suggest to you is be very, very careful if you're using forms of electronic media, because sometimes people find it very easy to hide behind these platforms and give you what they think you want to hear or see, or tell you what you want to know, and not necessarily being open and honest and truthful about who they are. You know, they doctor up a photo, or they, you know, tell you they don't have a, you know, they haven't got a jealous bone in their body and yet they're quite jealous. You know, it's easy to sort of hide behind these things because we've got sort of like a filter between us and the real world, or us and the other person. So if you were trying to attract love in your life, how would you go about it? Well, first and foremost, I think you need to sit down and look at why you want love in your life. What are the reasons? And 9 times out of 10, you know what the main reason is? I'm lonely. I'm lonely, I'm bored, and I'm sad. I feel that if I attract love in my life, then I'll feel complete. I'll feel 10 foot tall. I'll feel like I can conquer the world. Well, that's probably very true. All of those things are very true. Yes, you will be able to conquer the world and you will feel 10 foot tall. But what you've got to ask yourself is, by attracting someone else to make you feel that way, is that necessarily the right kind of love? Or should it be that I should find love within myself first? Should I sit down and look at myself and say, write down on a piece of paper 3 things that you like about yourself, and be very honest. It could be I've got a nice smile. It could be that I like animals. It could be I like going to the beach. And then get another piece of paper and write down 3 things that you don't like about yourself. And please don't be so critical about, oh, I'm too fat, or I'm too this, or I'm too that. I want you to look at things about your personality, about things that you can change. And, you know, things like, oh, I get very disappointed with people very quickly. Well, okay, that's something we can put down on the list. Or I don't listen well enough, or I'm too critical. Well, they're the things that we can sort of work on. And once we start to learn and understand who we are, and we can look in the mirror and like who we see looking back at us, forget about your wrinkles and your pimples, I'm talking about on a soul level, then you know that you're halfway there. Then you know that you're ready to attract someone into your life that you can love and in return will love you. So if we were going to work with a little ritual to bring love into our lives, how would we go about it? Well, it's very, very simple. This is how we would go about love. First things first, we'd write our little list, 3 things that we like about ourselves, 3 things that we don't like about ourselves. Then we'd get a little list of 3 things that are important to us in a new relationship. And I don't want you to turn around and put, I want him or her to be wealthy, or, you know, I want them to be a movie star. I want you to put down 3 real, genuine things that would attract you to someone. And most times it's something as simple as having a nice personality, a nice smile, being kind, being gentle. So there's lots of things there that you might see, that you can see, okay, they're the sort of things, they're the qualities that I'm looking for in love. When you think you've worked out what the qualities are that you're looking for in love, then I think we're ready to sort of look at the qualities that you don't want in love. Now, how you find that out is I'd like you to sort of go back and search your soul about important relationships that you've had in your life, not necessarily ones where you only went on a couple of dates, but say you've had 3 serious relationships in your life. I'd like you to get 3 pieces of paper, draw a line down the middle, and put the best points about person number 1, the worst points about person number 1. Do the same on the other 2 people, and then get a 4th piece of paper and see where we've got similarities. You might have on each 3 person, they had a great personality. Okay, on the 4th piece of paper, we're looking for someone with a great personality. Then we look at the things that, you know, we're slowly building an identical picture of the type of person that we would like. We're also putting on our 4th piece of paper the things that we don't want. If you don't like somebody that smokes cigarettes because you're allergic to cigarette smell, then put that on there. Because I think that's an important thing. You could meet the perfect person to have a love relationship with, but you don't like them because they smoke cigarettes, and that would turn you off. So I think these things are very, very important on how we go about attracting love. The next step would be, when we've got this and we're really secure in that we know exactly what we're searching for in love, what we don't want in love, then we need to start setting some intent to bring love into our lives. Now that brings me to working with candles. I've worked with candles most of my professional life in one form or another, whether it's been as a way of focusing my energy. Before I start any psychic work, I light a candle, I say my protections and my prayers, and then I know that I'm ready to start my psychic work for the day. And then I close it off before I complete it. But if I was to be looking for a new relationship, I would actually take one of my candles out of my extensive range of soy candles, called the love candle. And I would be working with the love candle in the same way, the 4th piece of paper where we wrote down what we were looking for in a relationship. I would actually put that piece of paper underneath the candle, on a plate, then on the table. But I would have that piece of paper with what I'm searching for in a relationship replicated so I could read it out. So before I go to light the candle, I would be in my own space. I would be in an energy and a space at the table, or a little area set up that I feel is mine. Whether you want to call it a temple, a sacred space, an area that you do your own psychic work, or where you go to write in your journal or do your meditation, somewhere that's uniquely your energy. I would then read out aloud as I go to light the candle what's on my list. Now, it doesn't need to be limited to 3 things or 5 things or 10 things. It can be whatever you want it to be. But remembering, we're going to be saying this out loud each time we light the candle. Now, we light the candle for an hour to 2 hours per day. I say an hour is quite sufficient. You can usually find in that hour, you can spend that time there with the candle, focusing on drawing towards your love, playing with your tarot cards, maybe writing in your journal, doing your meditation, listening to some love songs, you know, just really chilling out and allowing yourself to develop that sort of energy and spend that time with yourself, attracting towards you what you're searching for, what you're seeking, which is love. Now, that's a very important thing. Now, I want you to continue to do that for 7 days. Then I suggest you have a break of 7 days. then start again for another 7 days, and then have a break of 7 days. The reasons why I say do it in 7-day increments, we all have a very busy life. We all have other things that we have to do. So, you know, we might be able to set aside an hour a day for 7 days, but then we think the week after that, I'm just so stressed out. I've got kids and this and that and the other and work and, you know, family dinners and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that I can set aside that hour, even if you take it down to 15 minutes a day. But I'd like to try and get you into a routine of an hour a day for 7 days, 7 days on, 7 days off. Now, also we have in our range, we have a mini range of candles, which enables you to take these with you on holidays, or if you're going away for the weekend or something like that, or take them on a picnic even if you want to. You know, sometimes we can do this ritualistic sort of work even when we're out in nature. You know, you might be going out on a family picnic for the weekend and you think, okay, great, there's going to be a beautiful stream there, there's going to be a nice tree, I can sit down with a picnic blanket while everybody's off having a game of cricket or exploring. I can sit there and do my little bit of love work now. I can light my candle, I can write in my journal, I can put some nice music on my phone. There's lots of different ways that we can work with the energy. So I hope that that sort of helped you understand a little bit more about how to attract love into your life and why we want to attract love into our lives, so that we can feel more complete, so that we can go on to achieve great heights in our lives, and that we can feel that we can share our loving energy with everybody else that we meet. So it's really important that we focus on the reasons why we want to attract love in our life. Is it the right time for us? And be patient. Good things come to those who wait. And in all the years that I've been in this sort of work, you know, you can't hurry love. And there was a song written about that, and it's very, very true. You can't. But if you really believe in your intent, purpose and direction, that that's what you want in your life, you can draw towards you anything that you want if you focus and believe in it strongly enough. So you will find these candles for sale on my website, amandahallpsychic.com.au. I will put some links up there to the particular candles. You'll find that they're on special at the moment, so it's a good time to purchase them and get yourself ready to attract more love into your life. I hope that you've enjoyed this little presentation. We'll be back here again, same time, same station next week. And next week I'm going to be focusing on the Aquarian energy. So if you know any Aquarians, or you want to understand a little bit more about it, or understand how the Aquarian energy can help us in all of our lives, it doesn't matter what star sign you are, then tune in next week to our little mini workshop on Aquarius. I'd also like to say to you that I do have a weekly show on A1R Psychic Radio on Moonstruck TV here at 1 o'clock Queensland time on a Wednesday afternoon, which will be uploaded tomorrow as the replay. So you're more than welcome to jump onto my Facebook page, Amanda Hall Psychic, where you will see some of the previous shows. I'm only too happy to answer any questions that you might have. So if you want to private message me after the show, I'm happy to get back to you. Just bear in mind, sometimes it might take me a day or two to message you back, but I will get back to you. I'd like to thank you again for the opportunity to work with you, and have a great weekend and a great week and a happy Valentine's Day, and we'll see you next week. Bye for now.